Hello, students. You are welcome to class this afternoon. How you all doing? All right. Last week we talked about a very important topic, reproduction, and I told you that reproduction has to do with the ability of an organism to give rise to new individual. And we talked about different kinds of reproduction. We talked about the asexual and the sexual reproduction. Of course, we talked about the advantages and disadvantages. So today we are going to talk majorly on asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Now, in this asexual reproduction, we look into the definition of asexual reproduction. Take a look at types of asexual reproduction, and of course, the advantages and the disadvantages of asexual reproduction. Now, at the end of the lesson, I expect every one of you to be able to define asexual reproduction, state the forms of asexual reproduction, explain the various forms of asexual reproduction with suitable examples of different organisms, then give advantages and disadvantages of asexual reproduction. Now, what is asexual reproduction? In our last topic, I told you that asexual reproduction have to do with the kind of reproduction where new offspring is produced by a single parent organism. It doesn't have to do with fusion of gametes. There's no fusion of gametes in asexual reproduction. One parent organism give rise to new daughter cells, and we can see different forms of asexual reproduction from the picture on your screen. You can see sporulation, we can see binary fission, vegetative propagation, regeneration, budding, parthenogenesis, and the likes. They are all forms of asexual reproduction. Now let's talk about the binary fission. Binary fission, from the word binary, binary means two. This is when the parent cell divides into two cells. The cell division pattern vary in different organisms. Some can be directional, some can be non-directional. And amoeba is a very, very good example of binary fission. You can see from your screen that the amoeba, a parent organism, divides into two daughter cells, give rise to two daughter cells. Then the second one is budding. Budding is just the process of producing an individual through the buds that develop on the parent's body. Then the hydra is a very, very good example of budding. The bud derives nutrition, they derive shelter from the parent organism, and they detach themselves when they are fully grown. Immediately they are grown, they detach themselves from the parent organism and they can stay on their own. So another example of asexual of budding is yeast. You can see it in yeast. Then the third one is spore formation. Spore formation. Spore formation is another example of asexual reproduction. During unfavorable conditions, structure, the organism develop a sac-like structure from what you can see on the screen. It developed a sac-like structure that is called sporangium. And when the condition is now favorable, the sporangium burst open. And when it bursts open, it releases the spores. And these spores germinate and give rise to new organism. A very good example or spore formation happens in spirogyra. Now, the last one, another one we will talk about the fragmentation. And fragmentation is another mode of asexual reproduction, and it's exhibited by spirogyra, it's exhibited by planaria, and the likes. In this form of asexual reproduction, the parent body divides into several fragments. From what you can see on your screen, the parent organism divides into several fragments, and each of the fragments develops into a new organism. Then the last one is the vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is just a form of reproduction where new individuals from the vegetative part of plants, and we have two types. We have the natural vegetative reproduction, and of course we have the artificial vegetative propagation. From your screen, you can see we have cutting. You can see cutting, layering, all those forms. They are artificial reproduction where in which the intelligence of man is used to produce new data cells. Then you can see grafting, you can see tissue culture and the likes. Then you have an assignment here. You will tell me what asexual reproduction is. You will tell me the various forms of asexual reproduction. You will give me and their examples, suitable examples of organism. You can read more on it. Then you give me advantages and disadvantages of the asexual reproduction. Have a lovely day. Till we meet in our next class. Catch you. Hello.